bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Good Tuesday evening and welcome into the high school fan zone on 100.7 The Score. The Plainsmen will indeed get things started this evening. Coach Judd Thrash texted me and said he's running a little bit late, so we're going to go ahead and jump in and start talking about the first week that was of the high school football season in and around Lubbock. It was a very entertaining, very intriguing week for a lot of teams. I'm going to run through the scores of the 11 city teams that were in action, including the 7 that will be on the air here for us all season long. I think the game that jumps off the page right away, Lubbock Cooper went out to the Metroplex and beat Lucas Lovejoy 46-43. Great game. Had some friends out there, had to watch some highlights of it. 2 top 20 teams in the preseason rankings, and Pirates found a way to win. Because of that, in the new rankings that came out this week, the Lubbock Cooper jumps up to number 9 in 5A Division II. So a pretty notable win for Lubbock Cooper right off the bat. Friendship also played a Metroplex team, played Byron Nelson down in Abilene. Similar game. The Tigers came up a little bit short, gave up a touchdown in the final, I think 40 seconds, lost 48-46. Great game, great debut for Holden Phillips, who was on with us last week during the Tiger Fan Zone. Threw for 508 yards and 5 touchdowns in his first career start at quarterback. So pretty good start for him and the Tigers. Coronado, which they missed out on their chance this week to be in here because of Labor Day, also won their season opener 41-34 against Wichita Falls Legacy. Great offensive game for the Mustangs, which is something they're going to need this season, something that's been a little bit of a struggle for them the last couple of years. Big game for Demarion Finch, ran for almost 300 yards. He's a guy who will be in the spotlight this week when Coronado and Lubbock Cooper play each other. Great game out in Woodrow this week. Monterey, which will be here soon, went out to Choctaw, Oklahoma, lost 40-25. Had a game that they fell behind early, made a little bit of a run at them, and couldn't quite get over the hump. We'll get Judd Thrash, and I think Dezmond Williams is coming with him to speak about that a little bit, just kind of what the Plainsmen did that he liked, that they liked, and can build off of as they take on Abilene Wylie on the road this week. Lubbock High went up north, lost to Hereford 49-28, which the silver lining of that is the Westerners scored 28 points. I'm not positive they scored 28 points in a game last season, so that's a good first step for them. They are the Thursday night game at Lowry Field. They've got Big Spring this week. Estacado started the Eric Ward era with a very gritty 14-7 win against Jim Ned last Thursday. They are back home at Lowry Field this week against, I just went blank on who they're up against. They are, I should know because it's on a website that I'm pretty familiar with. Let me find it for us here. Estacado is at home. They're at home against Hereford. They play the team that Lubbock High lost to last week, so a little bit of crossover there. Liberty's first ever varsity game was a nail-biter. They lost 21-20. The Patriots scored in the fourth quarter and had a chance to pull even but missed the extra point. Got the ball back, couldn't move it enough, so they lost their first game by a single point. I was at that game. Thought it was a very impressive performance for a team that was under the Friday Night Lights for the first time. That was against New Home that has won 25 games the last 2 years plus. So a good opening act, just didn't quite finish the way they wanted to. Lubbock Christian was at home and beat Wink 40-29. And then a couple of the other TAP schools in town, Kingdom Prep beat Amherst 38-33. And Christ the King beat Anton, I believe that was 37-33. So a very busy, very successful week for several teams. I would venture to say that even the ones that lost gained something from that. Game of the week for a lot of folks this week is going to be that Coronado at Lubbock Cooper game, as I mentioned, 7 p.m. Friday out at Pirate Stadium. That is one of the 6 games that Raymar will have on the air this week. Let me run off that list real quick while we're waiting on folks to get here. I know Friendship will be on the air against Wichita Falls Memorial, the other new Wichita Falls school. They'll be on the air, the pregame at 6:30 Friday on Double T 97.3.FM. Lubbock Cooper and Coronado will be on two different stations. We got a couple of games like that this week. Pregame 6:30 for the Pirate broadcast on this station, 100.7 The Score. And on 96.9 The Bull is the Coronado broadcast. Pregame starts at 6:45. Then you've got Monterey on the road. That will be on 93 against Abilene Wylie. That'll be on 93.7 The Eagle. Lubbock High Thursday night. I believe that's on a different company's airwaves, so we'll leave it there. Estacado, I believe, is the same situation. Estacado's at home 7 p.m. Friday against Hereford. Lubbock High is at home 7 p.m. Thursday against Big Spring. Liberty and Idalou collide. That's the other one that's on two different networks or two different stations for Raymar here. The Liberty broadcast will be on 93.1. 93.1, or I've lost my train of thought. 93.1 Yes FM. The Idalou broadcast is on Sunny 97.7, so that'll be a crowded press box for those folks. That's the lineup for this week. As you saw, Monterey coach Judd Thrash has arrived. Judd, how are you tonight?
Good. Just got off the practice field.
Well, that's what you're supposed to be doing at this time of year, especially, I would imagine, for you, just hang out there a little bit longer with this football weather.
Oh, yeah. It's great atmosphere, good weather. You always like that as a coach.
Well, we talked a little bit about it before you came in. You were one of the three teams that had a pretty lengthy road trip, went to Choctaw, Oklahoma, went out, fell behind early, made a little run, but wound up running out of time against Choctaw, lost 40-25. I think we're coming up pretty quick on a break, so we'll talk about it in a minute here, but just your initial, the first blush of that, we'll come back and talk in detail, but what's your initial thought of the game?
Oh, I loved it. It was exactly what we needed. In order to be the best, you have to play the best, and that was a good team. We had 27 points that we left out there. Missed 2 field goals, had the ball on the 3, didn't score, threw a pick on the 10-yard line, had another long pass that was called back, a lineman downfield. So we had ample opportunities to win. So like I said, 27 points right there. So I was pleased with the team. I'm excited about this year. I liked what I saw against a high level of competition.
And we'll come back and talk in more detail about that, and then your game at Abilene Wylie on Friday.
Bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I am Randy Rosetta with 100.7 The Score. We are back on the Plainsman Fan Zone. I'm with Monterey coach Judd Thrash, who was telling me about the value of the road trip, let alone the 3 hours you guys played. But kind of expand on that. Just getting on the bus, going there, stopping, going through the whole process there and coming back. How good was that for you guys?
Well, I think anytime you can put your team in a situation that's uncomfortable is good. Having to travel that far. We stopped in Wichita Falls to eat. We started our day I think at 7 o'clock, and then stopped in Wichita Falls, which is about 2 to 3 hours, and then stopped in Lawton, Oklahoma to do a walkthrough. It was just in a different environment, going that far. It was good. It tested us mentally, which we need. If we go to the playoffs, we'll be traveling, so we need to get prepared for that, that kind of travel and that kind of environment. And I was very pleased with their talent level. It was, they were big and they were deep. I think they probably suited out 100 guys. They suited out their JV. They rotated a lot of guys. They were real deep. It was a physical ball game, a lot of speed. The number 6, number 5, number 2, the quarterbacks were both 6'3", 6'4", 230. So they were players, and so I was glad that we saw that level of competition, because we'll see that level of competition from Abilene High, and if we make the playoffs, and so that's what we want to see. Like I said last week. At Duncanville, we played Modern Day and IMG, and that was by design to get us ready for the state championship. And same thing here. It was designed to get us ready for district play, and we're gonna have to see some fast guys and be able to tackle in open space, and be able to go against some good DBs. They had a DB that was like 6'2", has offers. I think Tulsa and some other places, but that's what's going to take, to win a district championship. And like I told our guys, it was scheduled on purpose. It was to get us ready to pursue a district championship, and so that's kind of why we scheduled the game.
What were some of the positives for you guys inside the lines once the ball went up the air? What did you like that you saw from your guys there for 48 minutes?
Just, man, we played hard that second quarter. We opening kickoff almost took it back, had the ball on the 3, didn't punch it in on
14-9 at one point, didn't you?
Yeah, it was close all the way through the whole game. In the fourth quarter, we were down by 10. It was third and long, and the lights in the stadium went out, so they had a long time to scheme us up. In Oklahoma, you can have iPads on the sideline, and so I'm sure they were reviewing, the video and came up with a great call, and we busted an assignment, and they scored, and that's kind of what put the game out of reach. But the game was closer than the score shows. I mean, we were down by 10. I think, can't remember if there was 3 or 4 minutes left, but we were right there, and so I was proud of our guys. Luke played extremely well. He was, very comfortable in the pocket. Had a great game. Q Boyd had a great game at receiver. Our O-line played well. Our D-line played real good, and our linebackers, Kyrie Baxter, had 18 tackles. He was all over the field. First half, we had 4 turnovers. Defense forced, 4 turnovers.
We had a game.
Yeah, we had 3 and a muff punt, and so which was 4. So we had plenty of opportunities to win the game. Just made a lot of errors. Like I said, I went through the 27 points, and so we just can't make those errors in a first game. It's critical. Team that's going to win in the first game is going to not make as many mistakes, and we made more mistakes than they did.
You mentioned Luke. The stats I got from my guy Ralph Ramon, baseball coach at Monterey, and just one of the best dudes in town. Just one of the nicest guys I know. Had Luke at 19 of 35 for 196 yards. I think he had 2 touchdown passes. Q Boyd with 1, and Bronze
Render.
You say it for me because I don't want to butcher that name too bad. So it looks like you had some other guys. You mentioned some guys whose names are familiar, but when I was going through the stats, you had some other guys who got their chance and did something with it as well.
Absolutely. Bronze Render stepped up. Dallas Trevino stepped up. Q Boyd stepped up. But like I said, Luke played extremely good. They were packing guys in the box, and so we threw the ball, and we threw it effectively, and that's something that I wanted to see, because we have a good run game with Kyrie Baxter, Dez Williams, and Darius Tillman. But, when we got to throw it, we got to throw it. And so it was good because they had really good DBs. Like I said, they had a 6'1", 6'2" corner that has offers. But, I can't say enough good things. They had a huge D-line, big nose guard, big defensive end. They have a linebacker that has several offers. And so high level of competition.
And if anybody missed Luke here last week, just watching him, you could tell that's a young man who's not going to get rattled. He's just very even-keeled and he's going to be good at whatever he does in life.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and he led the team just like I thought he would Friday night. And so I was pleased to see his leadership abilities Friday night.
We'll come back and talk about the Bulldogs here on 100.7 Score, the Plainsman Fan Zone.
Bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsman Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
We are back on the Plainsman Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm Randy Rosetta. Judd Thrash, third-year Monterey coach to my far left, and Dez Williams has joined us. Dez, before I get in trouble, Dez, I can call you Dez. I'm not going to get in trouble with Mom or Grandma.
Nah.
Okay. What's Dez short for?
Desmond.
So you like Dez better?
Yes, sir.
I can understand that. My full name is Randall, and the only person who can call me that is my mom or my wife when she's really mad. So I don't want anybody mad at either one of us. I've never asked Coach what Judd's short for, so we'll have to ask someday. You were one of the guys that got a chance to knock heads with Choctaw Yellow Jackets.
Yes, sir.
And you were just talking about, Coach mentioned something about how good they were, and you kind of shook your head pretty quick. Yes, they were pretty good. What kind of test did those guys put you to?
They put us to a great test. That just bringing us and starting the season, giving us great competition to what the season is to come and what teams are to bring to us as well. Making us determine on where we are level wise and when to turn it up a notch. Kind of started off a little rocky, trying to fill a team out, which that's something we need to work on as well. But other than that, I feel like it was great competition.
Our coach already answered this, but what'd you like walking off the field afterward? I know you don't like the result. You want to get the win, but what'd you like about what you guys did for 48 minutes?
Our team didn't give up. They played to the last whistle. it was also like the team, our team. We weren't like nobody was putting their heads down. It was like, okay, like next game. Like we gotta, you know what I'm saying, boost it up a notch and just move on.
And you don't get much choice there because you get to go on the road again, a little shorter road trip this time,
yes,
to take on Abilene Wylie, which has a lot of recent tradition. They're 5A Division II now. You guys have played them the last 4 years, going back to Coach Hutch. It's gone back and forth. Judd, I'm just looking at their Dave Campbell said about them. They got 5 starters back on both sides of the ball. One of the key guys is their quarterback, Bear Mang, I think is how you say his name. What do you remember about him last year, and what do you kind of prepare for, knowing that there's a quarterback with another year of experience under his belt?
I think he throws the ball well. Watching the Abilene scrimmage, he threw the ball well. He's going to be able to do some things. He's a good scrambler. We're going to have to cover well in the secondary, and we're going to have to make sure that we keep him in the pocket and, watch him closely because he's a good player. And they have a good scheme, good coaching staff. They're going to do things right. They're going to have good technique. They're going to be disciplined. So, again, we it's like, in the game against Choctaw, it wasn't so much – we could have won the game if we would just not hurt us. It's all about us this week. Like I told the guys, it's all about us, and we got to take care of business and eliminate the mistakes.
Well, that's a good segue because I was going to ask both of you, what are the things you have to do better, you have to improve on this week? We'll start with you, Des.
I would stay disciplined, eliminate the penalties, eliminate the mistakes, staying focused, having one mission, that's to come out successful, and all having a great head on our shoulders.
What about you, Judd? I would imagine, again, going back to your defensive roots, you'll want to see some of those offensive numbers on the other side go down and the scoring go down.
Yeah, absolutely. We played 96 snaps. But
wow.
Yes, it's hard to be on the field that much.
Yes.
We were playing pretty fast on offense, so we had a lot of snaps on defense. But, again, I was pleased, because that was a good team, and we had 4 stops in the first half, forced 3 turnovers. And so we were playing some good defense. Like I said, they were big up front. They were fast, but our guys, did a good job. I was pleased with it. I told the guys, I said, it's exactly what I wanted to see, from our team, because I didn't, I thought we ran with them. We played with a good football team, and so I was pleased with that. I was actually surprised how well we did against such a high level of competition, and so we've elevated our play, and I'm excited about starting our, all the rest of the games from what I saw Friday. I think we're going to surprise some folks. I'm excited.
The Texas portion of your schedule.
Oh yeah, I mean, playing like we did against that competition's got me fired up. My head's not down at one bit. I'm excited. 96
snaps. I don't know if I've ever heard a high school team running 96. That's a ton of plays for a high school team.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot of plays. And, like I told you earlier, they play by national federation rules, and so they don't have a substitution policy. So they were running guys on and off. It took us a quarter to adjust to that because we couldn't tell what formation they were in. But it was good. Like I said, we had to play by different rules. It put us at a disadvantage, because it was different rules and stuff. But it was great. I like that having that underdog mentality, so it was good for our kids. Like I said, we had to battle through all those things, so it was good.
And Monterey gets back to action 7 p.m. Friday at Abilene Wylie. That'll be on 93.7 The Eagle. This is Randy Rosetta with 100.7 The Score.